Hello, Joko here, and I'm here to present to you some feedback on an essay written by a person in the IELTS Tips and Tricks page. Now, the thing we're looking at today is I can't move that any further than that. All right. Is this a positive or negative development question? Okay, so let's take a look, shall we? All right, the question is, okay, Priyanka Sharma named me by name, so I can do this. Exam is on the 24th. That's not very long. And the question that was presented is, in the past, people wore clothes that were unique to their own culture. Today, people all over the world wear the same types of clothes. Is this trend a positive or negative development? Question mark. However, there's more to the question than that. But, as it is, our first step is to analyze the question. Analyze the question. Right? Right. Okay, break it down. Analyze. A little promotion of my company up here. Okay. No? Over here. Here. In a little bit. I want to hit. Okay, so with a lot of different types of questions, particularly opinion questions, there will be parts of the question that are the premise, okay, that are not to be discussed or debated. Okay. So the first part of this question, in the past, people wore clothes that were unique to their own culture. That's not a debate, but it is important for our essay because this is the starting point from which the development occurs at the beginning. Today, people all over the world wear the same types of clothing. So, ask yourself the WH questions. Okay? Who are we talking about? People. Okay? Well, what kinds of people? People who wear clothes. Well, right. But particularly the people who wear the same types of clothes. Because it's definitely not true that everybody is wearing the same types of clothes. There's still lots of people who wear traditional clothes all the time that are unique to their culture. I would bet probably more than half the world. I don't know. But it does help us to ask these questions because it identifies who are we talking about. People who choose to wear the international standard attire. Okay. And where? Well, all over the world, but particularly in places where they aren't wearing the traditional clothes as much. When? Past and nowadays. And what are we talking about? What are these same types of clothes? Well, I'm wearing one right now. This is a polo shirt or a golf shirt. The little buttons right here. Okay, the little collar, this thing right here. Okay. Is this unique to any particular culture? Well, not nowadays. Where did it come from? It doesn't matter. But did people 100 years ago wear shirts like this? No, not really. But they didn't have cars and computers and lots of other things too. But anyway, I think when we talk about the same types of clothes, we want to think about things like business attire. You see people in Japan and Angola and Quebec and Scandinavia and Australia and India, all over the world. The business suit is a standard type of clothing for men. And the tie. Okay. For women, again, the same. There's some fashions that are not unique to any particular culture, but women's wear, there's styles of dresses, and women's business attire. It's standardized, and that's important. That's what we're talking about here, okay? And you need to think about that when analyzing whether it's a positive or negative development. So you've asked these questions, and now you want to brainstorm and come up with some ideas. What do you think? Well, what are some positive parts of this development and make a list. Okay, brainstorm, come up with some ideas, put them down on paper. Don't stop yourself. But it is important, and when I say don't stop yourself, don't think about, is this a good idea or not? Don't think about, can I support this? Until you have a bunch on paper. Then you want to cull them. Cull, to reduce in number, to get rid of some. You want to end up with maybe about 2 positive developments. What about negative developments? Okay, well, again, brainstorm, come up with ideas. More than one, and then decide where you stand. Now, we'll see in this essay that the writer has no problem in terms of ideas for positive developments. But does she extend these ideas and provide reasons and examples and develop the ideas? This second sentence wasn't in what was put on the page, but I think I got the wording a little bit wrong. I haven't done as many of these as I used to, but in every IELTS Task 2, there's going to be this line that talks about give reasons for your answers and provide relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Where the relevant goes up there, but that's in every question. Okay? Reasons for your answers, not just answers, but reasons and examples. That's what they mean by developing your ideas. Okay. All right, let's move on to what was written. Bring this down a little bit. We're missing a whole part of me. You want to miss part of me? Okay. Okay, so see a bunch of colors here. Here's the introduction. I underline things that I like. And I like your opening. You questioned it later in the comments. Gone are the days when people preferred to wear traditional clothes. Great. I love it. Good. It's got, gone are the days when. That's good collocation. And you're lucky it fits this topic. That's the best part of your essay right there. Kind of goes downhill from there. All right, now, but. Don't start a sentence with but. And punctuation, it's not a huge mistake, but putting the correct spaces between the punctuation marks is part of punctuation. Okay? So if you were to put a comma there, which I don't really think it's needed, it would go right up against the T. No space between that, and certainly there is a space before now. Okay. All right. Now the trend has changed, comma, drastically. Don't need that comma there either. Now, when we use the, that's the definite article, we need to be referencing something. Okay? What trend? What are you talking about? Oh, the trend that people, the trend of gone are the days. Well, you've said here, people don't wear traditional clothing. But the trend has changed. People don't wear similar clothing. No, the trend has not changed. You described the change, the trend in the first sentence. Drastically. People like to wear a similar pattern. Okay, no. A pattern, when it comes to clothing, is a very specific thing. It's the thing that the tailor uses to make the clothing. Okay, it's a drawing. People don't wear patterns. People wear styles. Okay, and it would be plural, patterns of clothes in the society. The in the society is unnecessary in this sentence. I, space, comma, however, space, comma, don't put those spaces in there. I, however, believe that wearing identical clothes can be beneficial for individuals, or the individual, and the society as a whole. Why go there? Okay, now what do these colors mean? Well, orange is task response, okay? And in specific, you have to show in the introduction that you understand what the question is about. the question is not about wearing identical clothes. Similar clothes and identical have different meanings. Okay, so you get the question, you're misrepresenting the question. And society as a whole. Well, why go there? Okay, this question is about people. It's about is it a positive or negative development for people? I guess you could include society in there, but why bother? All right, and blue is coherence and cohesion, the use of connections, connectors, referencing, and sentence construction. So here in this example, don't start a sentence with but. Okay, especially since in the next sentence you use however. Referencing, I mentioned that with the trend, what trend, and sentence construction. We don't need in the society. Lexical pattern, and then spelling matters. Several times, I think it's actually just twice, you misspell the word individual. Okay, and grammar includes punctuation, which I have talked about already. Okay, so keep those colors in mind as we go forward. Now, the next paragraph. Oh boy, we needed the whole slide for this one. Burn! Wow! Ah! No! Okay. Okay, now, people, nowadays, these days, people are adopting trendy and contemporary clothing. And this has witnessed many positive effects on the society. Well, trendy has a particular meaning. Trendy is, it's fashionable this year, or, this decade at the most. Trendy is not about business suits and, the clothing that's worn. It's not about polo shirts. Adopting contemporary clothing. And this has witnessed. No. Yeah. This has witnessed would be, right, it's not the correct use of witnessed. This has caused or created or spurred. You want caused. Really, caused. It's not witnessed. It's the opposite. Witness is seeing something happen. What you're saying is that it's caused something to happen. Okay, we're going to jump right into the not only but also. Bring out the big guns. It not only brings unity among people, comma, but also make. Okay? See, now, it's odd that the subject is it, and you got it right here. You say it brings, but by the time you get down to here, you forget this. The third person, it, requires a makes their bond stronger. Well, could you explain to me what you mean, how unity and a stronger bond are different? Not only unity, but also unity, because that's the way it reads. That's okay. You're going to now explain what you mean by that, right? Okay, you're going to explain how the unity and differentiate it. You're going to develop this idea. No, we go straight into the next idea with a repetitive connector. Not only. Again, we got not only. Don't do that. Not only this. What is this? You got two things. Racism and discrimination can be reduced. Okay? Well, reduced is not usually found in the passive voice. And does it reduce? It can are reduced. Not can be, are reduced by wearing similar outfits. Oh, that's very different than bringing unity, but that's a pretty big idea. Let's see how you develop this idea about how racism is reduced, okay? In fact, religious-based conflict. Now, okay, no, we're not going to hang out and talk about racism. We're going to go into religious-based conflicts. That's a whole different thing. Have reduced. Once again, reduced. Same verb in consecutive sentences is never a good idea. reduced to such an extent that people are started, hope I don't have to explain that one, are starting to adopt, not started adopting, have started adopting, or are starting to adopt other traditions, rituals, and moral values. Okay, now we're getting really far out there. Okay, you're trying to set it up as if it's going to save the world, but you don't develop any of these ideas. And how is people adopting other traditions, rituals, and values a good thing? Okay. So, do we develop this idea? Do we talk about it anymore? No! Right on to the next idea. With the exposure of media showcasing fashion industry, the fashion industry, comma, which has persuaded the simple society doesn't, not good collocation, to become happening. What? Don't ever use words with quotes like that. By instilling the vogue of fashionable outfits. Okay, that is not a complete sentence. That is not a sentence. It's just with the exposure of media, which has persuaded by installing. You do this a lot. Okay, you use a subordinate clause here, which. Okay? With the exposure, that's clause 2. So with the exposure, that's not the beginning of a sentence. Which has persuaded the simple society to become happening by instilling. Okay, that's another clause. You got 3 clauses, 3 parts that go on to a sentence, but no sentence in the middle. It's like a sandwich with 3 pieces of bread and nothing in between. And again, now you're moving on to a different idea. Okay, we're going to our third not only here. Don't repeat yourself. It has not only made individuals confident, but has also boosted their morale. Really, how is that I go back to the first one. How is that different? With a not only and but also, they need to be different things. Okay? But confidence is higher self-esteem and has motivated them to put an everlasting impression on what? Everlasting impression. What? Sorry, this doesn't make any sense. And you don't develop this idea. Again, no. It's on to the next idea. Accepting and moving towards the same clothing style has also, not only, but also made the thinking horizon, not good collocation, those 2 words don't go together, of the wearer more deep and broadened. More deep, deeper, and broader. And now once again we're going to put a with. Let's see if this will be a sentence. We got with, like you had up here, with the surge of the competition in the job market. What are we talking about? The job, it is essential for employees to update themselves. Why is that important? Which, there's another which, with, which can help them to become socialite. Nope, that's not the correct word. And professional. Socialite is not an adjective. Which, another which. There's so many witches in here. Which ultimately improves. Oh, okay, fine, let me get around back to the society. How many ideas are in this paragraph? Unity, racism, religious, adopting different cultures, people becoming happening, self-confidence, expanded thinking horizons, and better employment prospects. 8 ideas. Okay, so lots of ideas about how this has been a positive trend. And what do we do about negative trends? Sure, I'm expecting that to be in the next paragraph. Okay, now, no connection between the 2 paragraphs. There's no transition. It's just straight into expeating, misspelling. The ethnic clothes in routine lifestyle can affect, A-F-F-E, the development of people, as they would be carrying the thoughts of restrictive ideology, which, there's another which, we got as, you see how you put so many clauses, too many, which can hamper the personal growth. Okay, so can you find a simpler way to say that wearing traditional clothes restricts people's mindsets? I don't agree, but it doesn't matter if the ideas are right or wrong, just if they're supported. But no, you're going to go back to the first idea, you're going to go back to the positives, and you don't develop the negatives at all. Whereas, or is it whereas? No, identical clothes, not identical, tend to, well, do they or do they not? Freedom of expressions, acceptance, and satisfaction. How? Indeed, comfort, convenience, spelled wrong, along with diversity in clothing are few perks. A few perks? Perks is not the right words. Associated with this phenomenon. What phenomenon? And just throw in another which. Why not? Which persuade an individual, capitalized for some reason, to wear similar clothes. Okay. You have not presented any substantive idea about why it's a negative development. That's fine. No, it's not fine. It's certainly not balanced. It's just this paragraph. What's the purpose of it? I don't get it. Okay. Conclusion. Undoubtedly. Don't use that word. With the initiation. No. Initiation happens to people, not centuries. Of the 21st century. Diversity in the clothing style, and then there's a new line, has brought new colors, not mentioned before, and shapes to the mankind. Mankind, the is not needed. And where did you talk about colors and shapes before? Your conclusion should just be stuff you've already talked about. And let's just have one more not only, but also just for fun. Why not? Okay, and it's not only made the individual confident, but, okay, that's an idea that you mentioned before, but it's also made them competent in every respect. That was not mentioned before. Leading to whole new world. Again, as I said, don't use words in quotes, particularly when they didn't get talked about. Whereas, okay, and then let's just finish off with a sentence fragment. That's not a complete sentence. Whereas just close. Always lock the opportunities for individuals. Always. Okay, you've got lots and lots of ideas, but you don't develop any of them. This would restrict your task response to a 5. The paragraphs have no focus. That third paragraph was really, if you get a 6 in C and C, you'd be lucky. And then lexical, so many misspellings and misuses of words that it causes confusion for the reader. And same thing with the grammar. Not a bunch of mistakes, but don't be surprised if you get a 5.5 with this kind of essay.